Hi everybody. Good afternoon. It's Melanie with Lost and Found, lostandfounddecor.com. I'm gonna pause real fast and refresh my computer over here to make sure that this is working, that we're going live. And if you're here, say hi, give me a little thumbs up, let me know that this is working. I'm gonna scoot this over a little bit too. You guys see my Christmas tree back there? Thanks to everybody that tuned in while I was decorating the tree with the kids the other day. They had so much fun. They had so much fun getting to be on the video. They're all at school today, so no kids on the video today. All right, are we on here? Are we going? Let's see. Yep, there we are. Okay, good, we're working. Good job, Facebook. Yes, so I'm Melanie with Lost and Found. I am an antique dealer. I am a furniture painter. I am a retailer of 2 lines of furniture paint and a blogger. And I want to talk today about brush strokes. That's going to be the topic of our conversation today. If you're tuning in, I would love for you to let me know where you're watching from, just to know what part of the world or what part of the country you're in. I'm in Dallas, Texas. Well, I'm in a suburb of Dallas, Texas. It's a beautiful, kind of windy, but a beautiful day here. So say hi if you're watching. Okay, we're gonna get started. And as always, if you miss the beginnings of these videos, then you can go back and you can watch them all together. If you miss them live, you can watch them just on my page, and you can comment and ask questions there. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and start now. This is a topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. Hi, Mary. Thanks for saying hi. And it's something I feel kind of passionate about, and so I'm gonna try. I hope that comes across to you guys today. And really, this is for. I want to speak to the beginning painters out there. I want to talk to those of you that are thinking about painting your first piece, or you've painted a piece or two. Maybe you've been painting just pieces in your home, and now you're thinking about selling them. Okay, that's who I want to talk to. This isn't quite so much for you super professionals out there. It's for those of you that are just getting started, because here's what I'm seeing. I am seeing people getting really discouraged. Those of you that are new to furniture painting getting really discouraged and really worked up about brush strokes, okay? When I go into, I'm a member of a couple big Facebook groups where you're talking about, posting questions and talking about things, and what I'm seeing over and over and over in those groups is people asking about brush strokes, and people saying, I'm still getting brush strokes, what am I doing wrong? Or I can't seem to not get brush strokes, and then people start, oh good, Mary feels me. Okay, thank you, Mary. I have seen so many people that are new get really discouraged in this and really kind of walk away thinking that they are terrible painters and that they've done something wrong because they have brush strokes in their furniture. And so the first thing that I want to say in this conversation is that if you are using a furniture paint, which is really any type of chalk paint, Fusion, Annie Sloan, CC Caldwell, General Finishes, even a milk paint, if you're using any of those things, okay, and you're having brush strokes, you're not doing anything wrong, all right? That is perfectly normal and par for the course for painting with those kind of paints. Brush strokes are not an automatic sign that you've done a bad job or that you're painting poorly, or it doesn't automatically mean that it's a bad sloppy finish. And I think that we've had a little bit of confusion over that. As more and more people are talking about brush strokes, we've kind of equated brush strokes with sloppy paint job. And they're just not one and the same. Sometimes brush strokes can be a sign of a sloppy paint job, but they're not, a lot of times you can have a perfectly well done paint job and you're still seeing brush strokes. So that's the first thing I want to say. You need to understand the paint that you're working with, all right? There is paint out there that you can take a brush and brush it on and then walk away, and it will smooth out and level out, and it will be smooth as glass, okay? That paint does exist. That is not chalk paint, and that is not Fusion mineral paint, and it's not milk paint. It's oil-based paint, and it's enamel paint. That's what that paint is, okay? You can use that type of paint to paint furniture. It's a whole lot harder to. There's a reason why people use furniture paint. And when I say furniture paint, I'm talking about chalk paint, chalk type paint, all of those brands, Fusion, I'm putting all of that together. That's what I mean when I say that. There's a reason why people use furniture paint instead of oil-based or enamel. It's because it's easier, there's less prep, and most of the furniture paints are low or zero VOC. And if you've ever painted with an oil-based or an enamel, they stink to high heaven and you can't paint inside, and it's an absolute pain in the rear end to clean them up. You can use those paints to paint your furniture, and you can paint it on and then walk away and it will smooth as glass, and you will have zero brush strokes. But that's a really whole different process than what most of the type of painting, that's totally different than what most of us are doing, okay? That's a whole nother skill, to be quite frank, and it's not a skill that I would say I even really have. I don't work with those paints. I don't like to work with those paints. I have on occasion, and as I was working with them, I remembered why I don't work with them. Just because personally, I just don't like that. I don't like to work with them. So so just know that, understand that, okay? And if you're using a furniture paint, if you're just a basic DIY furniture painter and you're using a furniture paint and you're expecting to brush it on and walk away and have it settle out and be smooth as glass, you're going to be disappointed because the paint just isn't going to do that. It doesn't work that way. And here's what I've noticed. We've all, this paint's been around for what? Chalk paint's like 5 or 6 years old now. Okay. And when we all started using it, we were okay with that. Like, we weren't expecting it to be free of brush strokes. But for some reason in the past year-ish, 8 to 10 months maybe, we're not happy with the brush strokes anymore. And we want the furniture paint to not have brush strokes. Well, y'all, it's been doing that the whole time. So why are we so worried about it now? I think what happened is that a couple people started talking about it, and then we started going, is this something I need to worry about? I don't know, maybe I need to worry about our brush strokes, and forgetting that it's actually looked that way the whole time, that the paint's always worked that way. Do you guys ever, do that? Like I do that a lot in other areas of my life. Like I have values or decisions, like parenting, for example. Things that I've decided about my kids, or things that are just like, yeah, I'm okay with this happening. But then I see other people start to talk about, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should be worried about the fact that I let my kids wear shorts in winter. They're worried about it. Maybe I need to be worried about it. Maybe, and then you start freaking out over it, okay? I kind of think that's what's going on in these Facebook groups where everybody's talking about brush strokes. Like, I've never really cared about my pieces having brush strokes. I've cared about my pieces being sloppy and being poorly done, but I've never really thought just about brush strokes. But then people start talking, and y'all, I've started to go like, am I not a very good painter? Like, my pieces have brush strokes. I must be a terrible painter. When for years now, I've been painting furniture and selling it for years, and it's never been a problem. And I will tell y'all, I've never had a customer, I've never had a custom work customer, I've never had someone buying a piece at my shop, I've never had a single customer or friend who's walked into my house and seen a piece ever walked up to it and go, you got some brush strokes on that. You didn't do a very good job. Or, I want you to redo that because it has brush strokes. Nobody has ever said that to me. And I will tell you that almost all of my pieces have brush strokes on them. So, I kind of think we're making a bigger deal about it than we need to make about it. And that somewhere along the line, like, our expectations got a little skewed. And we started to think that if you have brush strokes, then it means you did a bad job. And I want to just clear the air about that and say that I personally don't think that's the case. And I want to talk to you guys that are new painters, and that maybe you're getting discouraged because you paint something and it has brush strokes. And then you walk away and you think, I did a terrible job. You did not do a bad job. If your piece has brush strokes and you're using a furniture paint, you probably did a fantastic job. We are always our own worst critics. We're going to notice things that nobody else is going to notice, okay? My husband is telling me that all the time. Like, I'll look at something and obsess over it's perfect, and he goes, babe, nobody is going to notice that. So here's what I'm not saying. I am not saying to be sloppy. I'm not saying not care about your work. I hope you guys know me well enough that you know that. I want my pieces to look good. And I work hard to have them look good. And they do look good, and they feel smooth, and they don't have any obvious errors. Like, things you do want to avoid are if your paint's pooling on the corner of a piece, or if it's got big drip marks, like, you want to fix that. That's not good technique. If your paint is streaky, you want to fix that. That's not good technique. But brush strokes in and of themselves are not evidence of a bad paint job, okay? If you're using any type of furniture paint, they're just not. So I hope that you feel some freedom when I say that. I want you just to kind of, let's just all take a deep breath. We can paint and have some brush strokes. It's okay, because y'all, that's just how the paint works. Like chalk paint, Fusion, it is not going to settle out smooth as glass for you. It's just not. It doesn't work that way. Milk paint is the one type of furniture paint that actually will do that. It will show up without pretty much minimal effort with a brush stroke free surface, and that's just because it's really thin. It's got a lot of water. It's just how the paint works. But all of the rest of them, your Annie Sloan, your Maison Blanche, your General Finishes, your Fusion, they're not going to just smooth out smooth as glass like that for you. That's just not how the paint works. You're trying to, if you're painting like that and you're expecting that, you're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Is that what they say? So I've seen a few thumbs up. I hope that means that you guys are with me, that you're getting this. And Mary has commented with where she's watching from. Thanks, Mary, for saying hi. I would love to hear where the rest of you guys are watching from. If you want to type a quick comment and let me know where you are. Okay, so with all of that said, I do want to give you some tips let's move away from talking about brush strokes and let's start talking about just how to do a good job and how to do a professional job. And let's take brush strokes out of the equation, okay? So one, you want to understand that, pick the right brush for your project, okay? So these are your flat synthetic bristle brushes. These I sell on my website and in my shops, but it's similar. Angela, yes, we're gonna get there, so keep watching. It's similar, to your really nice Purdy brushes at Home Depot. These are great brushes. These are my milk paint brushes. I tend to not use these brushes when I'm working with a chalk type painter with Fusion because I think they leave some streaks. That's my opinion. But what the most important thing is, if you're using a brush like this, see how the bristles are still really nice and tight and clean, okay? Look at it versus, you guys can see, versus this. You see the difference between these two brushes? This is an old Linzer brush that I got from Home Depot. I've used this brush a lot. I used it to paint my wall the other day. It's same type of brush. It's just, I've used it a bunch, and see how those bristles are all frayed? That's not gonna give you a good smooth finish, okay? So if you wanna use a synthetic brush, find one where your bristles are still really nice and held together. Again, I tend to use these for milk paint, okay? If your brush is looking like this, you need to go buy a new brush or toss it into your wall painting brush. Don't use it on your furniture, okay? Your next brushes. When I am working on with a chalk type paint or with Fusion, I do use a round brush. These are the ones that I have for sale right now. These are the ones that we used to have with this wooden handle. These are the ones that we have now. I'm going to be really honest with you guys and tell you that these I don't like quite as much. I think the bristles are too long. These I tend to use more for a wax brush. These, when we had these, I really, really liked them. I thought they gave a fantastic smooth finish. They hold a lot of paint in them, and they really laid the paint out really nice and smooth. I don't sell these anymore, unfortunately. Some other paint brands still do. I'm really kind of bummed that we don't have these anymore. But I do like to use a round brush when I'm working with my chalk type paint or my Fusion paint, okay? So these are okay. I don't think they're that great, to be honest. If you want to go with the best, these are the Stahlmaster brushes. They really are fantastic. See, these big full bristles. This is a round. It's got synthetic bristles, and it's got some natural bristles, and it really does lay the paint down super, super smooth. So I don't know why these handles are so freakishly long. I have no idea. But if you paint a lot, this is a worthy investment of a brush. This brush, if you're working with a chalk type paint, will give you a very nice smooth finish. Now, will you still see some brush strokes? Yes, you will. I used this the other day. I still see some brush strokes, but it's smooth. They're not errors, okay? We want to separate brush strokes from errors, but it's smooth and it's solid and consistent. These brushes do a great job at that. Yes, they're an investment. They're about 25 bucks a brush. They're going to last you a long, long time though. So I do recommend this, okay? So another thing that you can do, if some furniture pieces in certain styles, you do want to try to get them as smooth as you can. Sometimes if that's the look you're going for, that's awesome. I'm not saying a smooth brushstroke free finish is a problem. I'm just saying, you know, we need to kind of chill out about it. But like if you're working on a modern piece of furniture and you want it to have like a high gloss, you know, super sleek finish, then and you don't want to use an oil-based or an enamel, I mean, really your best way to get that is to spray your paint or to use an oil-based or an enamel. Now, I don't like spraying. I'm lazy and it's too much of a mess, and I don't want to work with oil-based or enamel. So I still want to work with my furniture paint, and here's how I do it. You can use a microfiber roller, okay? And these are not foam, they're microfiber. Let me take one out. Okay, can you see the little fluffy on that? So, where's my little roller? Oh, I lost my roller. I don't know where it went. Pretend this is on a little roller, okay? There's a technique that I've had a lot of success with where, you know, you take the whole piece that you're working with, like the whole side of the dresser or the whole drawer, whatever, like the section that you're working on, and you use this to roll on your paint in thin layers, and then you're gonna go back with this flat brush, and from one end to the other, you're just gonna barely touch the tip, not press down, barely touch the tip at an angle and lay off your paint. I actually have another video where I showed that. If you go look back in my videos, you'll find it. That's called laying off. You roll on with the roller and you lay off. It's a little tricky. You gotta work fast. You don't wanna do it outside when it's hot. And then in between each finish, you sand smooth. That's a great way to still use your furniture paint and get a brush stroke free finish, okay? But again, if you're using furniture paint and you're using a brush, you're gonna have brush strokes. That's okay. If you don't wanna have them, then I would recommend trying this method where you roll it on and then you lay off with a brush, okay? A couple other little tips just to minimize your brush strokes. You want to paint with the grain, okay? Let's go back to our Stolmaster brush here. You want to go in the direction of the grain, wherever the width. So this grain's running up and down, so you want to go up and down with the grain, okay? Imagine this is a drawer. What you don't want to do is come like this over in here, and then come like this, and then go back and forth like this, okay? Because then what you're going to see is you're going to have some strokes that go like this, and something like that, and then you're going to have some like this, and there's going to be texture. All right, so you go in one direction with the grain of the paint, all right? Also, be careful you're not pushing down too hard. See that? You want to lay your paint down smoothly. You don't want to shove it on there. You want to lay it down smoothly. Another tip that some people like is, if you're especially on these synthetic bristles, is to dip it in a little bit of water before you dip it in your paint. And then again, you're not pushing it down, but you're laying it down very smoothly. Have your brush at about a 45-degree angle and lay the paint down smoothly, okay? I'm going the wrong direction because here's the brush. Here's the grain, that way. So there's a couple practical tips. 1, use the right brush for the paint you're working with. 2, paint with the grain. 3, try dipping your brush in a little bit of water, okay? But then number 4, and really the most important one, is to just understand the paint that you're working with, okay? If you want a super sleek, high gloss finish that looks like your piece just rolled off the factory line at IKEA and there's not a mark on it, then use a sprayer and go get you some oil-based paint. That's how you're gonna get that look. The easiest, okay? There's a couple bloggers that do a great job at that. Painted by Kayla Payne is one. She does a great job at that. And it's just a really involved process though. There's like all this wet sanding. I mean, it's a really involved process to paint like that. And I think those pieces are beautiful. That's just most of the time not the look I'm going for. So, but if you're just the average painter, painting in your home, painting even some pieces to sell, and you're using furniture paint, most of the time I'm going to tell you you're doing a great job. Watch out for drips, watch out for streaks, but if you just have brush strokes there, you're okay. It doesn't mean that you've done something wrong. That's just how the paint works, okay? That was the point, the goal of this message. I hope that's made its way across. Yeah, thanks for tuning in today. You guys can, if you want to be notified of when I'm doing my live videos, there's a little box, a little blue button up in the top right of my page that says send message. You can click that and type in the words get started or start. That works too. And my little messenger angels will reply, and that can get you into my messenger subscription where I can send you a message to let you know when I'm going live. So that way you can be here and not miss it. Again, if you have questions after the fact, you can always type in comments, ask me some questions. Angela, I hope that I answered your question that you asked earlier. But I would love to hear what you guys hear about brush strokes. If you think that maybe we've gone a little overboard worrying about them. Mary, yes, Mary, freedom, let it go, right? Just let it go. I'm glad if this message just connected with you, Mary Neal, and resonated with you, then it was worth it, because I can tell that you got it. And so that makes my heart feel happy today, that Mary Neal is with me on this. This is supposed to be fun, y'all. Really, it's supposed to be fun. So do a good job, do a professional job. Feel some freedom though to care a little bit less about your brush strokes. And yeah, message me with Get Started if you want to stay in tuned for upcoming videos. I'm going to try to do at least a couple a week. Thanks, Mary. Yeah, y'all are awesome. I appreciate everybody. Thanks, Pam. I appreciate everybody that takes the time to tune into these. I really, really do. If you thought this was helpful, if you want to preach the gospel of not worrying about brush strokes, then I would love for you to share this video. But I do. I appreciate you guys so much being here. So Merry Christmas to everybody, and I'll see you again soon. Okay? Bye-bye.